This week on Waxing the Porpoise, G-Baby and the usual suspect Steve flashback to a mid-80s horror sci-fi flick about the end of the world, where a handful of survivors must come to grips with LA becoming a ghost town / zombie wasteland overnight by way of a sinister meteor in Night of the Comet from 1984. Join us as we continue our bootackular part deux to discuss pumpkin variants, getting goofed in the corn maze, play a quick game of Finish the Lyric, Young Jeezy edition, and ask ourselves, when the world ends, where will you draw your line in the sand? The porpoises, midnight companions and keen observers, overcome by this celestial nightmare which has breached the sky, defy the gods and press forward in search of safer waters. I don't know what the fuck that means. Let's wax this meteoric porpoise.
Chase, don't do that.
You see, we working on his brow chakra. We're just in back of the crown chakra.
That stigma never leaves you, but yeah, so we might have some rich fucking Murdoch stuff coming up because people are like losing their fucking mind at the thought that he might get a new trial.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah, it's wild. It's like it didn't seem like they had to try to stack the deck like that. And I wonder if she was getting influenced by someone else. I mean, if it seemed kind of weird. So it could have been
we might need to even do a full episode about it because it's super interesting because none of the jurors were saying shit after the trial until the book came out. And then when a couple of them read it and were like, ooh, this is kind of dirty. And I think in hindsight, they felt kind of dirty about what happened. Mm-hmm. So the defense attorneys reached out to every single juror after the trial. None of them wanted to talk to them. But then when the book came out, they had 2 or 3 reach out to them and be like, hey, this is kind of fucked up. And so we want to tell you about it. And so, yeah, we could maybe, I don't know, we might want to wait until, because the defense filed their motions. And now I think the state has like 90 days. Dude, they are probably so fucking pissed because they had the conviction of all of their careers in the bag, and now it's definitely in jeopardy. So
I think they have 90 days trying to make a name or trying to make a buck just fucks it all up, makes it difficult.
Yep,
that sucks.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we'll just think about covering that on a future episode because it's super interesting. The stuff she's accused of, dude. It's crazy. Like, one of the defense attorneys was like, I've been doing criminal trials for 50 years. I've never seen a clerk do anything close to this ever. Like, it's so just beyond, you know.
Well, she's a pioneer, if anything.
Dude, she's looking at 20 years in a federal pound me in the ass prison, but I doubt
federal fucking prison. Yeah. That's hardcore, man. Yeah. But good. I mean, it's like, even though this guy doesn't seem like, you know, there's something off with this guy, but even still, it's like, it's the precedent kind of thing. Like, you know, what if it was like a Brenton Butler type deal?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, poor fucking bastard, have something like that happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, fuck that. You can't.
Yeah, it's not.
Fuck around
it's
with
not
someone's
even
life's at stake.
Everybody gets so concerned with the result. It's not the result, it's the process that gets you to the result that I'm more worried about. So that's why when you see like these stupid fucking evidentiary rulings where the judge was just like, every single thing they brought up, he's like, I'll allow it. It's like, okay, but you are fucking up the machine that's supposed to spit out the just result by just throwing every single fucking thing in it. So, yeah. Anyway, that could be
the journey.
Yes.
It's not the treasure, it's the friends we made along the way.
Yes. There are rules. This isn't Nam.
All right. Yeah. Welcome back to Waxing the Porpoise. We're back again, episode 74 now. Tonight we'll be covering Night of the Comet. This is kind of a soft launch, I guess, I suppose, into our Halloween bootackular, spooktacular, part deux-tacular. Just kind of focusing on horror more horror and some Halloween stuff, Halloween tinged. Even though this movie, I realize, is a pretty sneaky Christmas and end of the world kind of New Year's vibe to it more than Halloween, but it's got zombies, so fuck it. Or zombie-like creatures. Yeah, this is from '84. This is one I had seen a few times over the years, and it's a kind of a comfort, guilty pleasure, comfort food for me kind of flick. Tonight, you got myself, Jim G. Baby.
You can have a Diet Coke or a Coca-Cola. That's what Mahatma Gandhi said. He said you could have Diet Coke, but why?
So true.
That's from I don't know if you've seen floating around. Somebody did like a deep fake, like AI Gary Busey, and like a podcast interview kind of thing.
Somebody, I can't remember if it was you or my old lady. She showed me a clip of him recently.
Buttered sausage.
Yeah, is that not real?
No, I was heartbroken when I found out it wasn't real.
That's how you know you are completely batshit, is when something like that is going around and they're like, that's Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I saw a video of you saying that stuff, I would call the police and ambulance immediately. But for him, it's like, yeah, that's Gary.
It was a two-step.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is fun because I bought it hook, line, and sinker. The more you look at it, there's some like weird, like to me, when I like a deep fake, there's a couple tells I can tell throughout, and some of those I'm not an expert, but
yeah, I'm not quite.
Once you know it too, yet. And then once you know it and then watch it, you can see some of the cracks in the facade, I guess, but. Yeah, the buttered sausage one was fucking funny. Why is it doing what it's doing? Get it out of my face. It sounds just like him. And even like his big ass teeth and like the mouth movements. I was like, that's getting pretty good, man. That scares me. Like, what's it going to look like in 15 years? Fuck.
Yes, that is very frightening.
And without further ado, also we have the usual suspect, Steve.
Tough noogies. We're watching Predators of the Serengeti.
How's it going, man?
Doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing good. I was pretty proud of myself that I was able to mine and unearth the tough noogies bump. It's pretty simple. I just typed in tough noogies raw, so it came up. So it wasn't that hard. I got a couple kind of funky things to get out of the way. Should we knock them out first off top, or do you want to save them? Okay.
No, let's do it.
I have a game, a couple announcements. Let's see. Because we had talked about Young Jeezy finish the lyric.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm just going to read it aloud and we'll grade you. I was going to like try to get little snippets, but I thought that's kind of like really gambling with copyright shit if I'm to blatantly play like sections of song like that multiple times in a row. So I'm going to read a couple lines and then you finish the lyric.
It should fall under fair use, but the YouTube overlords don't necessarily always care about stuff like that. So fuck it.
That's true.
Let's do spoken word. Jeezy, finish the lyric.
Slam poetry. Jeezy.
Right. And I'm going into this blind. I did not know this was happening. So
that's how you feel. All right. This is from That's How You Feel. I'll give the song and then I'll get into it. So, infrared beam on the Mossberg pump. Hit his ass with it twice. Make him A-Town stomp. Finish the lyric. Infrared beam on the Mossberg pump. Hit his ass with it twice. Make him A-Town stomp.
Can you give me the first part of the next line? Give me the first couple words.
In Gats.
In Gats we trust.
Yeah.
I feel like you're just setting me up to say the N-word. I don't know why.
No, I swear I'm not. I did this specific. That's I don't think I did that first verse. I just wanted to include the In Gats We Trust. So you got that part.
Okay.
I gave you 2
Fuck,
freebies.
I think this is going to be a little bit harder than I thought.
All right, let's move on to number 2. I'll give you a point for that. Or a half a point of 3. Bottom of the map. All a gangsta do is stay fresh. Yeah! 45 with the
Gucci Teflon vest, obviously.
Hey, yep. All right, cool. It's got all of his ad libs like in quotes right next to it. And then third and final, and then what? Strapped up in the club. Yeah, I'm so crazy. These other rappers,
actors like Patrick Swayze, obviously.
Haha, yes. All right, you got 2.5 out of 3.
All right,
not bad. Pretty solid. Yeah, so that'll wrap up Young Jeezy. That's how you feel. Finish the lyric.
Dude, some of his shit, I've listened to it 100 times. It still makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah. It does and it doesn't.
It's some of it, it's probably known slang. Yeah, that I would feel like such a dipshit if I was like, "What does this mean?" And everyone's like, "Well, obviously that means whatever." Like, I'm sorry, I'm still learning.
Yeah, they'd be like,
"Get your page ass the fuck out of here."
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I guess next up on the announcement front, so next week we'll be having Miles back on. He's going to join us for The Thing.
Oh, nice.
Hyped up. So
big episode, much anticipated.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So you can get old JD to cool his tits. You'll finally have that one under your belt. And that'll be a fun way to ring in the Halloween season 2. And so I'm thinking, I was kicking it around. I wasn't sure, but with that, and then Chris is going to come back on the week following to do Prince of Darkness, which is the second of 3rd in the John Carpenter Apocalypse trilogy. So it starts The Thing, Prince of Darkness, and the 3rd film is In the Mouth of Madness with Sam Neill.
Okay.
So yeah, we're gonna get that trilogy knocked out, and that'll be fun to talk about, like each film, not only but then like the overarching like idea and mythos of the Apocalypse trilogy. So that'll be fun. I'm a big Carpenter fan. He did The Fog and Christine, which you've seen so far now. So I really like his style and vibe. He's definitely one of my favorite horror directors period. So
and Miles and Chris are fan favorites, I would say.
Yep. S tier, as Miles would say. Yeah, so we'll have that. I'll save the Harrison Ford for the end, put a bow on things. I finally remembered that fucking broccoli joke that he tells that's a crowd pleaser. I guess last bit of announcements here too. I had the privilege of going on a second time to Creature Comforts with Justin, aka Soju from the Straight Chilling Crew. It's their their offshoot. They do like mini casts as well, but it's like they primarily focus on horror. So this is their branching out into like horror adjacent things that are kind of on the cusp of that. And he let me pick this time. So I picked The Jacket from 2005 with Adrian Brody. That's one I recommended to your ass for like 9 years straight.
Yeah.
I don't think you ever watched.
No. Sure didn't.
I was going to save it for this show, but I was like, fuck it. I think this one would be cool to talk about now. So I'll scratch that off our slate. But yeah, it was a great time.
Justin was on here.
Prisoners.
For one of the, I think the best movies we watched was Prisoners. So
that's one of your top?
Yeah, that's a really good one. I like it a lot.
That's a crowd favorite too. He's of the 3 Straight Chillin' boys that we've had on the show. He's the pace setter. That one's in the top 10 up there with Karen Reed and the Coors Light Chronicles.
Yeah.
Of course. We ought to have Dick back soon too. It's been a while. And your dad. Your dad's a crowd favorite. Had a great time talking with him. That would be cool to get him on the books here soon. Together.
Oh boy.
You think? That's like a super
too
group.
Too much. That would be too much.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. So
do you know when that one comes out?
That comes out Monday, so keep your eyes peeled. That's just in their YouTube channel. It's like a video.
The name of the show
cast.
is Creature Comforts.
Creature Comforts, and I
Nice.
think you can just it's under their Straight Chilling channel, so it's just like YouTube / Straight Chilling. So we'll link that on our socials and stuff. And big thanks to him, Soju at Straight Chilling, for having me on for that. It was a really good discussion. I had a great time, so I'm looking forward to being able to share that out. Cool. Do you got anything going on? What's going on with you? Or do you just want to get right into Comet?
Get right into it.
All right. So, Night of the Comet, 1984. First thing I really like the soundtrack. Like, it's got a certain kind of vibe that kind of draws you in. But basically, it's a fucking, like, it's a horror kind of camp zombie end of the world movie. And we start out with like a lead in about the visitor is returning, this meteor or comet that's swung so large and wide over through time and space, its existence had been held secret until now. Tinfoil hat. Right away, I was like, "Ooh, dude, this is like Nibiru, Planet X." Have you ever heard of any of that or fucked with any of that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not super familiar with it, but I'm aware of it.
Yeah, it's just kind of fun to think about. Kind of scary, if true, but...
Well, so like you said, the soundtrack, for the first little bit, I was like, damn, this is so 80s. I'm having a hard time. But then after a while, they sprinkled in a few bangers in there, so I was like, okay, I've come around on the soundtrack at the end.
Do you mean by like the mainstream hits that they included, or like the original score picked up a little bit for you?
No, it was just like the first, I think maybe 2 or 3. I was like, man, this is just really so heavy on the 80s thing. But then as it went on, I felt like it got a little better. I don't know if I just softened up a little bit, but
it just wore you down.
Yeah, it did.
Have you ever heard of this before or seen it talked about?
No, of course not.
What'd you think of it?
Okay, so it's a 6.3 on IMDb. Okay, that's okay. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's 79 with the critics, 57 with the people. So if you kind of average those out, it's all about the same. Like you said, it's definitely campy on purpose. It's very 80s. So, like, objectively, is this a good movie? No, it is not. Did I like it? No, I did not. I did not. It was tough for Papa to get through. I thought the premise was cool. The way it started, the first maybe 10 or 15 minutes, like, this is a cool idea.
Yeah.
God, I had a really hard time. I thought the acting was horrifically bad. The writing was dog shit. I don't know if it was intentionally bad, like, oh, this is how we're going to be schlocky on purpose, but this is what it made me think of for an analogy. I don't know if you have ever accidentally taken like a Tylenol PM during the day.
I don't know that I have.
Or like taking a NyQuil for some reason by mistake in the middle of the day instead of a Dayquil. That one's tougher to do because, yeah. So
I remember I tried to get high off of Corseed HPB one time.
Oh yeah.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
You really familiar? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
During the day, and it was odd.
Yeah, that'll send you on a space trip, brother. But yeah, there was one time where I had Tylenol, and for some reason I didn't realize it was Tylenol PM, and I took it at like noon. And so after like half an hour, just that like feeling of trying to stay awake and fighting it and feeling like sick and depressed and not happy. That's how I felt watching this entire movie.
Damn, that's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty rough.
I like the premise though. They just fucked it up pretty much from the very beginning. So
yeah, this is another one of those that I suggested, and like not having seen it in quite a while, this watch too, I was like, why did I like this so much? Or why was I so okay with it to like, but not to buy it back or anything. I mean, I I I can't remember what the other movie was where I was like, yeah, I think you liked it even a little bit more than I did. Um Maybe it was The Final Girls. I don't know. It was something in there where I was just like, but yeah, this time watching it, the beginning I think is what I always remember the most because like the first 20 minutes are really cool and that stick out and what make it kind of distinct. Um but yeah,
So
it drags in a huge chunk of the movie, like a 40-50 minute swath
yeah,
is like, I was like, this is boring. I thought there was way more action with Reggie. Like, I thought she was way more badass for some reason. I might be mixing it up with another movie too, but um, yeah, it is just really slow.
yeah. And for 90 minutes, you feel like every second of it.
Yeah, it
So
doesn't
you,
feel like a 90-minute movie.
I don't know about you, but I think one of the reasons why I liked the premise so much was so I was born in '87. So in '97, when the Heaven's Gate thing happened, that was like
Oh
a
yeah,
big fucking deal. 39 people, mass suicide, crazy. I'd never heard of anything like that. So
yeah,
I
same.
think,
That shit was wild.
yeah. So I think that sort of influenced me on this a little bit to be like, oh, okay, I'm in. Hopefully, it's something cool. Um,
Right.
it was not, but so I did see one. I thought I would try something a little bit different this time, where
Sure.
normally I like the movie and I'd like to find a shitty review. In this case, I didn't like the movie and I found a good review that I think is dumb. But I also just picked up a bad review that I think might explain why some people like it. It's just this dude named Walter, and it's a very short review. It just says crap that is fondly remembered and best left at that. I thought that was pretty succinct. Like,
Yeah.
it probably benefits from nostalgia or comfort, like you said, but yeah, crap that is fondly remembered and best left at that. I don't know. I thought that was pretty well put. But
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
so
I wouldn't go so far to say crap, but I do agree with the sentiment. I think the ideal setting for this is if you're trying to have something on the background and fall asleep in like late summer on the couch at like 2 o'clock and you're just kind of wiped. You did a little bit of yard work maybe, and you come in to a cold
yeah, I
beverage, throw
almost
this on.
fucking fell asleep watching it.
I almost
I was
fell
trying
down.
so hard to stay awake.
Uh,
All right, so yeah,
all
I'll
right.
save the good review for later because I think
Later.
you'll like the source. But
Okay.
yeah, I will also say as like a cynical old man who used to manage people in a prior life. This like opening scene where the chick at the movie theater is like playing video games and the manager's like, "Hey, can you stop doing that and go do your job?" And it's
Yeah.
like, fucking fire this bitch right now.
Yeah.
This is I don't know why that just bugged me so much. And he's like, "Don't go into the projector room and basically fuck that guy who's fucking me." It's like, no, you need
Yeah.
to lock that down. And she's stealing from you. Ugh.
She's stealing from the till. Reggie's stealing from the reg. Yeah, that was annoying. It's like it's got to really emphasize that she's badass at video games. Yeah, so we shoot to like we follow our main gal, our protagonist, and absolute smoke show. I don't know about you, Regina, who goes by Reg or Reggie.
Yeah, she looked like she could have been like Kathy Ireland adjacent. Kind of similar
Yeah,
aesthetic.
like a dark brunette. Dude, Kathy Ireland was like one of the first like crushes, like legit. Like my era was probably like, yeah, like 92, 91, 92, 93, going into like third, fourth grade. And there's like Cindy Crawford, Kathy Ireland was huge around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very very good looking woman, and she's badass too. But she works at like a theater, and they have kind of some news spots talking about the meteor, and it's like it's this huge event, a global event, and so some people are speculating some wild shit could happen, and others say it's going to pass through over our horizon, be just fine, and then it cuts to like people partying like it's 1999, like block parties. You imagine like the 60s and shit, like.
And I don't know if there was one sign in particular at the beginning that just was like, I heart the comet. Like, nobody's going to make that sign. That's so dumb.
I don't know. I think you have too much faith in people. I'd totally buy that.
I heart the comet.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be like hashtag like fucking I love you comet. Like, yeah, it'd be all, if that happened, there would be some sycophant like freaks out there.
Yeah, like when in Independence Day when they're up on the roof and they have the signs that are like, but at least those were like, welcome, we're friendly. Like,
dude, someone though, I remember they're up at the skyscraper and it was all beam me up, like.
Yeah.
Fuck. So yeah, this is happening. Everyone's having a good time, thinking it's just like, you know, like Hail Bop or something. And one of my favorite scenes, and I think one of the biggest linchpin in me loving this or having like remembering it fondly, even though this watch through, I was like, fuck, I didn't like that. It was a complete waste of time. But this scene with Reggie's sister, Samantha, and their
stepmom.
Trophy wife, stepmom, Doris.
Yeah.
This little interaction, like Doris is clearly fucking around on the dad who is out of the picture. He's like some like special forces military guy. He's out of the country and she's schmoozing. She's fucking around with Chuck. Suburban Lothario. And dude, what she says, Samantha says, you were born with an asshole, Doris. You don't need Chuck. Yeah. Which prompts Doris to slap 16, 17-year-old Samantha. And then I like how she bows right back up, smacks her, and then Doris fucking punches her right in the mouth and knocks her over. Like, I remember the first time I was like, oh, I like this movie's vibe. Like, it had kind of a weird vibe because I wasn't expecting this setup with the comet and then this little familial kind of tiff that ends in face punching, like in fisticuffs. But yeah, honestly, that's like probably top 2 highlight moments of this movie, which is not a good sign for the rest of it. But the comet goes by and then it does this weird dog shit special effects, like looks like a TV glitch in the sky, and then it's the next day. I did like the effect, like once the comet had passed through, the shit that they did with that red.
Yeah,
and like the sunset.
I did like that too.
That was dope.
I did like that.
Like if you were to have this on as like a screensaver, like different shots of like downtown LA, like where there's no one around, like it's like I Am Legend, and with that crazy red sunset, that exposure that they did, it made me, and like the little band of yellow at the bottom, I was like, this is like the embodiment of when I think of the phrase like tequila sunrise. That's what it looked like in the skyline on film. But yeah, I really dug that. Like just like aesthetically, it seemed kind of cool and kind of weird seeing like this whole big ass metropolitan city completely bare. They did that really well. However, they squeezed that in before or blocked streets off. Like kudos to them on that front.
I read something that said that they just shot it super early in the morning and just like did it real quick during red lights and shit.
It still seems really hard to pull off in like a big ass city like that. So I thought that was cool. I like that kind of like, because I've been to LA a couple times, not impressed.
Yeah, it's a shithole.
It's fucking wild. But I mean, there's a lot of cool shit there, but it's a different mindset. It's weird. But to see it juxtaposed like on this with that crazy sunset that perpetual red tint and no one around was pretty cool. So that like something happens to this comet where it passes through and it basically vaporizes everyone who was outside, and then it had like diminishing effects from like the material which you were shielded by. Like it seems like some people in houses that were stayed indoors, or at least a handful of them, weren't vaporized, but they start slowly like deteriorating. And then there's people in like a compound, I think, that that under the ground and like behind like steel buildings and shit were less affected. But
this is partly where it goes off the rails for me, because the survivors, let me get their names up before I forget. So Reggie and her
Samantha.
Well,
I didn't mean Heck.
Well, Reggie and her super handsome boyfriend.
Oh yeah, Larry.
They survive because they're in the projection room is supposed to be steel covered. Samantha survives because she ran away and slept in a steel garden shed, I guess. And then Hector survived because he was, I don't know, banging some runaway in the back of his steel-lined truck. So then, yeah, like you said, people who were immediately exposed, like looking at the thing, vaporized, and then other people who were just inside slowly start decomposing. And then
they
people
turn
who are
into
within
zombie
like
fucks.
Steel structures are impervious. But then when like the whole subplot, or I guess it's the plot of this underground lab, I just thought was the secret fucking stupid.
Yeah, it was.
Because it's like, okay, they've been working on this mystery comet for 65 million years, and then you find out that they're like, oh fuck, we forgot to close the windows, so we're dying.
Yeah, all the air from like the ventilation shaft or whatever was able to get in, so they're fucked too. So
yeah, it just seemed like such an obvious way of like, hey, we've got about 15 to 16 minutes of good movie here. We've got to add something. Because once they got involved, I was like, this has gotten even worse. We have derailed.
Yeah, I remember it being a little different. I thought it got a little bit more Mad Maxy with Reggie. I for some reason remember her like being way more of a badass and having a couple more skirmishes before like like the nefarious secret government organization in these kinds of like apocalyptic zombie, whatever, take your pick kind of flicks, outbreak movies are always there in the shadows, and they know something, and they might have an even greater, more diabolical plan related to this thing. And it just kind of really fell flat because they just seemed really incompetent. The acting was really bad. All that Oscar guy at the end was fucking terrible. But
wait, which one's Oscar?
He's the one towards the end that with the glasses and the comb over, and he's like wanting to go like buy the book on everything. And then I can't remember her name. She's played by Mary Warnov.
White.
The super tall gal with the fucking eyebrows.
Yep.
Yeah, I think she's kind of a mini legend in like this kind of schlocky type. She's done a lot of schlocky like 70s and 80s flicks, horror realm kind of stuff.
I kind of thought you might put her in the category of a handsome woman.
She's absolutely in that category for sure. Yeah. Now I think of Gina Davis and Mary Warnoff for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd totally do her for sure.
Well, she's like 90, so.
If I were my age in 1984.
In 1984,
dude, yeah, she's still alive and kicking.
You were 1 year old in 1984.
I was -1. in 84.
You would have
I
fucked
was
her
in
as a
Baghdad
fetus.
when you were in your dad's bag.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Good old Clayton.
Dude. I remember hearing that at minimum 3 times a day, every day. Yeah, so this is where like we get our first zombie encounter. Reggie, like Larry, he's been beat over the head with a wrench by a fucking zombie dude. Reggie boosts his motorcycle. She starts going around. I like this too. Like it's like establishing like everyone's gone. She's driving through LA, driving back to her house to see what, is her sister around. And I kind of liked the effect. It looked like it was a pretty cheap way, but it still looked cool of like people's clothes and shoes on the ground
Yeah.
and like dust like blasts from like head arm area. So it looks, it looked like anything like biological or with like a heartbeat, because even pets, like they found like a dog leash and shit. So anything like biological, this thing just fucking fries.
Dude, I was still in at this point, for sure.
Yeah. Totally.
And I was excited to see where it went, and then it just went to hell in a handbasket.
Once she hooks up with her sister and then with Hector, it really downshifts pretty hard. But so it's like it turns into your standard like, apocalypse kind of survivor movie. We got these 2 sisters who don't look like sisters at all. And they're like diametrically opposed. One's like a cheerleader, like Valley Girl, and then the other one's like super independent, like just really bad bitch. So yeah, I mean, I guess siblings aren't always super alike. They just seem so like distinctly not like, but I guess I bought their relationship too throughout the movie. Like they seemed pretty tight, but
I mean, of all things I did not care for, the believability of their relationship didn't crack the top 10,000 on my list.
Really?
But yeah, no, it didn't bug me really. But yeah, so they hear a voice that they think is a live voice on the radio. So they go to the radio station looking for another survivor.
Yeah,
they find it's a tape. Fine, that's great. There's a guy there. He's also a survivor, transiently in LA, going from wherever to San Diego. Fine.
Yeah.
And then when he's like, I'm gonna go see my family. I think that might have been one of the first parts where I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? They're dead.
I just have to see, man, for myself.
And then the gals go to the mall, which gets us to like one of the first and probably worst like time-filling subplots that makes no fucking sense to me at all is these stock boys. I still don't understand what the fuck their purpose was. They decided to just take over at JCPenney, even though everybody else was dead. For what purpose? It's unclear.
Yeah. They needed some kind of intermediary threat to push things along, but yeah, like there's these thug like badass dudes that are holed up in like the fucking women's clothing section. I did like one of her lines. Reggie's talking to Hector about like she's like, we need to go, because emphasizing like that she's familiar with guns and like her dad's a military person. She's like, we need to go to Los Alamitos. They got automatic weapons there. We used to shoot out on the range. My dad would take me. And then because she makes fun of Hector's little gun. What'd she say? She says it might be good enough for date night in the barrio, but if we're gonna come across any more of those fucking zombie fucks out there, we're gonna need a little bit more stopping power. And then he's like, you know how to handle that shit? And she's like, hell, Hector, Mac 10 submachine gun was practically designed for housewives. So I was like, what? What does that mean? But yeah, then her and her sister are toting around Uzi and Mac 10 the rest of the movie, doing like target practice montage and fucking.
Yeah, I guess you might have mentioned it, but we skipped over the part where she beat the shit in quotes, out of the zombie before she got on the motorcycle, which...
Yeah, she got tossed around pretty good. Yeah. For some reason, dude, I thought I remembered her being like, it turned way more Mad Max, like got like really intense, like she built like a nail bat, and like, you know, like they had like a phantasm montage where she like crafts weapons, and I was like, I don't know, fucking Mandela effect or some shit, but or I'm just wrong.
Well, yeah,
Simply
because
wrong.
they talked about going to that military base to get all the MAC-10s, or whatever, but it never showed them going there.
No.
They just show up with them.
Later, Hector just shows up in some fucking killer duds, cowboy duds, and a fucking cherried out 57 Chevy on white walls, just fucking living the dream.
Well, and before that, he showed up in a full-on Santa uniform.
Yeah, where do you get the fucking Santa outfit?
After rescuing...
And he had presents. He even ran and he dropped a present and went back for it.
Yeah, the scene where he goes home and fights this little kid and doesn't shoot him in the head doesn't make any sense to me. He took like one picture of his mom and then like a weird trophy from his youth soccer league or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that zombie kid was kind of creepy, and they had some really
shoot him in the head,
really terrible fucking one-liners in this too. When he was like, when he goes to check on his mom's house, and he opens the door and sees the fucking zombie kid, and he's like, oh, and he slams the door closed. He's like, get away, you little goddamn freak, we don't want any. And then he's like, there goes the neighborhood, as like they're like he's running through the backyard.
I hate that shit.
Oh yeah, it was bad. That's when we cut back to Sam's feeling like down. She's like pissy with her sister because she was making eyes with Hector, and she's like, you always take the hot guy or whatever before me, and like their little sibling rivalry.
I knew you were going to bring this up.
So Reggie is like, let's do some fucking retail therapy shopping montage with fucking MAC-10s. It's like, of course you'd put Cyndi Lauper, girls just want to have fun, shop. Yeah, let's just shake it off, the existential nightmare that we're currently living in, where we're the last survivors on Earth and there's these zombie freaks around. Let's go fucking...
Hey, you know, bitches be
women
shopping.
Be shopping.
Yep.
Do you take Vasa or Mooster card? So, and then they're just about to get got by this dude who I like the reveal of one of the JCPenney thugs, because he looks like just a dude, like another survivor, but he takes his sunglasses off and his eyes are all sunken in and he's starting to zombify. I thought that was kind of neat, but they didn't really go anywhere else with that. And so then they get in a gunfight, wild ass gunfight, and then they end up getting Sam, and then nick of time we have our Deus Ex Machina of sorts, with the secret government organization steps in, guns them all down right in the nick of time, and then the movie shifts again into this like downshifts.
It did have one fun thing that I like, where somebody takes a hostage against a psychopath, and then the psychopath shoots the guy that she has taken hostage. Like, yes, this is how much I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. She's like, oh my God, you're crazy. He's like, no, I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tried to set him like a Joker kind of dude, but I stopped taking notes at this point, so you're gonna have to help me prop this up. But we basically, this part didn't make any sense.
Underground lab people come in and they rescue them.
Yeah, and then through all this, she's trying to get her sister, and she just lets her. She's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, hang out with these other scientists who aren't telling us anything, and I'll meet you back at their main base out in the desert. Bye."
Yeah.
So they split up inexplicably. Like I was like, wait, what? Oh, because they're gonna wait on the chance that Hector comes back from San Diego. I'd be like, no fucking way. He's not coming back. Let's go. Anyway, they split them apart, and then the whole it seems so like murky, but it's also like dumb, and there doesn't seem like there's any real stakes, but it looks like there's an internal struggle with these secret government survivors on how to best deal with the little time they have left, and like coming up with some kind of serum or antidote to save the remaining survivors. I couldn't tell what side this chick, Mary Warnow, was on. Did you have trouble parsing out like?
Yeah, I think she was.
She seemed like she wanted to like take no chances. Fuck all these people. Let's go back to the base and work on a plan.
Yeah, I don't think she wanted to bring anybody else in, and I think she was also opposed to the like weird blood farming operation they had going on there. So I think that's why she pretended to kill what's her name, so they wouldn't take her back to harvest her shit.
That's a good point.
And then she killed herself to just completely be done with it. But because
she comes with the revelation, she says their calculations are wrong or whatever. Like we only have like 36 hours left because of the vents were left open. And like the main head honcho at the underground lab seems to differ, or thinks they're going to have plenty of time with the few survivors that they have. They have like 2 kids. They're like under age 12 and like another body. They're doing weird shit, like draining the blood, trying to come up with some kind of serum. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I was like 99% out at this point, checking the time every minute or so.
The time.
Yeah, so so I might have missed a couple details, but yeah, so they have the young kids that they're about to start harvesting, and then they have the older guy who, for some reason, they like popped the IV out of, and then when they put it back in, I thought like, oh, this is going to be important. Maybe this guy's going to wake up. Just
nothing, literally nothing. I was like, oh, they did it too later. It got exposed. He's going to start zombifying. He's going to start fucking some shit up.
Yeah.
They didn't even do that. I mean, that would not have helped or saved this movie. It would have just added something.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it really does bore you to tears, this whole segment. But,
well, and there's no explanation for what this fucking lab actually is. Like, am I supposed to believe that this lab was created in anticipation of this known catastrophe that hasn't happened in 65 billion years? Because that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, they seem to like be aware of it and like the effects, but we're still so ill prepared. But it's like, how would you be prepared, like to your point, for something like this that happened so long ago? And it's like at the beginning it says like it's evaded, through time and space detection because it's on such a wide elliptical. So yeah, it kind of shoots itself in the foot, like plot wise, like narratively, like it just doesn't make sense. And like, I agree. I wish it would have been better thought out, but I also wish like these are the kinds of movies where I like a lot of exposition and like explanation of like, ooh, how did it start? And like, here are the unknowns and like, what are we battling against? How do we get there? And it didn't really have any of that. And it was just super flat. I did like I alluded to earlier, Hector coming back in the fucking, the cherried out fucking car. And
so this was one of my favorite parts where Sam is presumably dead, and Reggie is inside the facility, and Ector comes to the gate, and the security guard's like, oh, what are you doing here? Who are you? What are you doing? And he's like, come here, can I show you something? And then this secure location, he just like walks around the gate. Like, what? What the fuck?
He didn't even unlock like a chain and like a padlock. It was just open. Yeah. And they kept doing those weird shots to like an armed guard, like the bottom of their leg, and like an outpost in the desert, and that weird insignia that looked like a maze. Like, ooh, like.
Yeah,
you know,
I meant to ask you about that.
secret.
Like, what the fuck was that?
It was.
Because it was a different gun than we had seen at any point. So I thought they were like foreshadowing some sort of siege on this underground lab, but
right.
That never happened.
Yeah, nothing like that ever happened. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be that, or like some kind of like mysterious interloper that was gonna come down or be inserted into the plot. But yeah, none of that happens either.
Cool.
So yeah. And then Hector, I like when he opens the trunk and then she's actually alive and they get the jump on the guard and he goes and plants dynamite. Like, where the fuck did you get that dynamite, dude? And rigged it up to where it would fucking light the fuse upon ignition. But yeah, that part was kind of cool. And then the end is just really strange. Like, all right, we're getting hitched and like the two kids we saved, we're pretending they're our children, we're dressing them up and
so fucking
I don't know. I was like, was the chick wrong? And they have more time to live because they didn't show any signs of deteriorating like that one guy at the compound. So yeah, I was like, is this a happy ending or they're just saying like, fuck it, we got 8 hours to live now or 5 or whatever it is.
No,
and then of course Samantha finds her the DMK who is also, she's like, who's that DMK who got on my high score list on my video game? And they went so far to tie that back and close that thread. I was like,
why? This isn't, there's no point for any of it.
Yeah, it was some of the choices were pretty odd, but yeah.
I've just had an apostrophe.
Yeah, that's all I got on Night of the Comet. Sorry, I let you down. This is one I remembered a lot. It was a lot more flowery. I was seeing in rose tinted glasses for sure on this one, but I still wouldn't go out of my way to say don't ever watch this to someone.
Oh, I would. If anybody's listening,
bad.
Do not watch it. Please, I'm begging you. And if you do, please write in and tell me I'm wrong. But I don't think there is a person on Earth that would watch it and write in and tell me I'm wrong. But that's just me.
I wasn't cursing at you. I was cursing at the lady.
Nice parenting.
Hey, thanks. Are you my therapist? Take a walk.
Oh, God, I love that part.
Speaking of Adam Sandler, I had the misfortune of walking in on bits and pieces of his new film, his nepotism vehicle that stars his daughters. It's like,
I don't know what you're.
It's on Netflix. He's in it and his wife's in it and his daughters are in it. I can't remember what it's called. It's like, you're so not invited to my bat mitzvah.
Oh my God.
Or some shit like that.
It's so funny you say that because I was just talking to the missus and she said that because I was asking her like, hey, what are you going to watch when I'm off doing the pod? And she said, I think I'm going to try rewatching the whatever bar mitzvah thing. And I was like, oh, did you try to watch it before? And she's like, yeah, I made it 5 minutes and turned it off because it was so bad. I didn't realize it was a Sandler thing.
Yeah, oh yeah. He plays. Yeah, he's really stretching on this one. He plays his daughter's dad.
Whoa! Wow.
Yeah, both of his daughters, but his younger one. I don't know where. I think it's Sadie, is the main character. Like, she's all over the place, but yeah, it was pretty rough. My daughter and wife loved the shit out of it.
Really?
But I was like, what are you talking about? But see, I loved Hubie Halloween and my wife hates it. So
You were living
But
in a house
my
divided.
daughter loves it too, so it became a fast like must watch yearly Halloween watch for sure. So I'm about to fire that bitch up here pretty soon.
Wow, what a confusing household.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
what did you dislike about you're not invited to my bat mitzvah?
I mean, to be fair, it's not for me. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm not the target demographic, but I don't know. And I mean, if Sandler's producing his own shit, he wants to put his kids in it. Whatever, more power to you. But I don't know. It just seemed really like sappy, just like
Because
some real
didn't he
cornball
sign
shit.
like a huge Netflix like 7-picture deal?
Yeah,
And I think he
for
might
like-
just be churning out like here's this horse shit.
They're doing a Hubie too, so he's not going away
God.
anytime soon. But I thought you liked Hubie.
I do, but
Okay.
I don't like the like I have a contractual obligation for so many pictures, so I'm just going to churn out some dog shit to satisfy the contract. Like, I mean, do you think Hubie 2 is going to be anywhere near as good as like a Happy Gilmore or the Waterboy? Like, no chance.
Never. No. But I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, get your money, King.
There's some pretty good shit in Hubie. Like I was my expectation level was pretty fucking zero. It was like in the toilet. And there was some good stuff in there. Even just like the shirts that the mom was wearing, like boner donor and like shit like that. It was awesome. The one that got us though is when the dog, it's like a boxer dog, and they put who's that motherfucker? I can't remember the name. Groucho Marx glasses. You know, the glasses that are connected with that nose and mustache.
Yeah.
They put it on the dog's ass, the glasses, and his tail starts wagging and it looks like a nose and a face. Dude, that part fucking kills me and my daughter every time. We have to rewind it like 30 fucking times before we can proceed with the rest. Anyway, all right. So yeah, Night of the Comet, fuck it. Brought down my average pretty fucking hard.
Movie
was
sucks.
hoping
I do have a scintillating piece of trivia that I think you're going to love.
Yeah. Let's hit it.
There was so little trivia about this movie because it sucks so bad. I wrote this one down because I thought it was so bad. This big piece of important trivia says, the sequence at the department store, that was shot at night.
Oh, no shit.
That's it.
Cool.
That's the most riveting piece of trivia I found about this piece of shit.
The think tank base was done with miniatures and forced perspective. Ivan E. Roth pulled out a prop gun during his audition for the role of Willie. Jesus. All right.
Let me
Didn't
know
you
when
have a positive review
I do have
of
a
this?
positive review. Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. So it says, you ready?
Yeah.
So it says, Night of the Comet is not really symbolic of anything quite so real-world perilous, but it serves as a real example of smart, resourceful, and snarky butt-kicking women in film of that decade. Okay? So, fine.
Butt kicking.
Do you want to know who wrote that review?
Is it someone famous?
It might be a returning critic on our show.
No.
This is Jennifer K. Stoller from Bitch Media.
Bitch Media? Yes.
Boner alert.
Yeah.
But the first gal, her name was like Maria or something from Bitch Media. This is a different writer, so they were churning out some fucking material, some content over at Bitch Media. That's fucking awesome.
You engaged hostiles? I vaporized hostiles.
Cool. But yeah, the whole symbology thing, no. snarky. Yeah.
Well, it serves as a rare example of smart, resourceful, and snarky butt-kicking women in film.
She doesn't. I like that shit, but she does not kick any butt. There's a drought of butt kicking. That's if they could have injected this with like 50% more badassery and ass kicking, like it would have, it would have. I don't know if it would have saved it, but yeah, that's what I definitely wanted and thought that it delivered. But
You want me to drag him out of here? Kick the shit out of him?
all right, yeah. So that
Sorry, Rick.
drags are averaged down to 85.2. Fuck. Whatever. We're still in B territory.
Oh, stop picking dumb shit.
Hey, you can't win them all. All right.
Well, I think the next two are probably going to be solid.
Oh yeah, I'm super confident in all the Carpenters that we have lined up. Yeah, I'm still itching to do. I want to do Dire Lane. I want to cover that. What do you think about that? Do you think there's enough meat on the bone, or okay?
I don't think there's enough meat on the bone, honestly, but I think we could turn it into something.
All right, maybe we'll come up with some more like horror, like seasonal games. Maybe sprinkle in some more Young Jeezy, finish the lyric type shit. But I did want to leave off with two more points. So one is we actually just exceeded, little milestone for us. We exceeded 10,000 downloads as per Podbean, our
Sweet.
podcast host. So yeah, pretty rad.
Thanks,
I'm also shout out to. Yeah, thank you very much. We've gotten a lot of love on YouTube recently by way of the Karen Reed case has definitely brought a lot more eyeballs, ear holes to the show. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. People that check us out, enjoy what we're laying down. We appreciate you. Let the good times roll. Also shout out to, I don't know, are you a cider guy? Like hard cider?
Nope.
No, not at all.
Nope.
I'm not at all either. I've sampled a couple things in like some sour beers that on paper I should like a sour beer a lot, but something about it, it's like does something to my tummy. Like goes right to the bottom and like just like sits there and the sour on top. I don't know.
It's like acidic, like too acidic. Does it make you burpy?
No, I guess not any more than a regular brew or like a sparkling water make me pretty burpy, but shout out to Blake's Hard Cider. I know they're kind of a big name in the cider game. My glare's affecting it, but it's got pumpkins on it. This is Blake's Hard Cider seasonal apple lantern roasted pumpkin hard cider.
What's the alcohol percentage?
6.5. So it'll get you nice and it'll get you a little cool little fade going. I had like 3 and some of that Crystal Head vodka when I was on Creature Comfort, so I was pretty fucking tuned up. But yeah, they're nice. I like it more like it's more crisp, kind of refreshing than like a beer. Like I don't feel as weighed down as like a craft brew.
Yeah, because I feel like most ciders are really low, like 3 or 4.
No, this one's 6.5. They have a couple. I think they have a couple 7 and above, and then they also have another seasonal one. I almost picked up. It was caramel apple hard cider. Sounds pretty fucking tasty, brother.
Down.
No.
What's the
this ample lantern's doing it.
What's the pumpkin patch situation near your house?
It's not super crazy. Honestly, back when we were in NorCal, the shout out to Bishop's Pumpkin Farm in Wheatland is a fucking banger. That place is dope. They have a proper fucking setup out there. Haven't seen anything like that up in the northern reaches, but I know down in Indianapolis and the suburbs, they have some wild shit out there, like haunted hay rides and like some pretty pretty big stuff. But we're going to a place like a haunted forest, I think, here in a couple weeks. That should be pretty fun. But I've never seen the one pumpkin patch we went to last year. I've never seen the fucking variety of pumpkins ever. There had to have been like 40, no less than like 45 like variants, like shit with hair on it, green, long ass fucking what?
Hair?
Yeah, it looked really weird. You know, it looked like, you know, those people that grow like down in like South America and shit that can like grow hair on their face, like the werewolf. Like it's like a genetic thing where, you know, like normal you and I, we don't grow hair on like our nose, like the bridge of our nose, our forehead, cheeks.
Speak for yourself.
It's just like a full, like a cousin it situation. They had pumpkins like that. It was really weird.
Teen Wolf.
Yeah, Teen Wolf pumpkin. But in your neck of the woods, I really like the fucking corn maze.
Yeah.
Pretty fun. Pretty spooky too. I went in there like, oh, I'm not gonna get scared in this fucking corner. I got scared a couple times, buddy. It was pretty freaky. Fucking chainsaw, like right on your fucking yipping at your heels. I was like, oh, even though they take the chain out, it's still kind of freaky.
Yeah. I don't know. Count me out.
It's fun. Come on, get in the season. Go get some pumpkin butter and a fucking bag of seeds and go through the corn maze. It's fucking fun. You know, the one that scared me the most though, like, was just a dude in like a crazy big like Grim Reaper hood, and he had like an armful of plastic snakes, and he was like at like it was like a T in the corn maze, and he was just right behind the stalks, and he took like 1 foot out and just popped like 50 plastic snakes in the air, and I was like, oh fuck, like that shit got me good.
And you didn't go like
okay.
dad angry mode on the guy?
Oh no,
just rip his fucking head off?
No, I like getting scared. Like, it's a fun feeling, but I went into it really jaded. Like I'm enjoying this, but you're not gonna scare me. No, come on. You guys should check it out. Anyway, we're gonna finish up with one I've been fucking talking about and lagging on. Really funny. Harrison Ford telling a joke short. Okay, take it away, Harrison.
I was working in the produce department at the grocery store, and a lady walks up and she says, "Excuse me." He says, "Yes." She says, "Where's the broccoli? I can't find the broccoli." He says, "We ran out of broccoli. We'll have some tomorrow morning." And he goes back to his work and he's stacking the oranges. He hears behind it, Mister, turns around, and it's the same lady. She says, "Where's the broccoli? You got any broccoli?" He says, "No, ma'am. We're fresh out of broccoli. We'll have some tomorrow morning." Goes back to work. A couple of minutes later, this woman walks right up in his face, and she says, "How come I can't find any broccoli?" He says, "Do me a favor, will you?" She said, "What?" "How do you spell cat?" It's like in catastrophic. She says, C-A-T. "How do you spell dog?" Like in dogmatic. She says, D-O-G. He says, "How do you spell like in broccoli?" She says, "There is no broccoli." He said, "That's what I'm trying to tell you, lady."
Man.
No? Damn.
I don't know. I was just expecting a little better, I guess.
You're tough. You're tough sometimes.
He's like this every day. Mad as a bag of bees.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. Any last words? Any last do not check out this movie. Do not pass go.
Do not. That's
you can do a lot better for your Halloween horror itch for the season than this. So, all right. Well, yeah, next week we'll have a chance for redemption, reconsecration. We'll have Miles back covering The Thing, the seminal 1982 remake, actually, by John Carpenter. That's widely loved. It should be a good time. If you have any questions, complaints, concerns, hate mail, you can reach us at waxingtheporpoise.com or either of our socials. Instagram is at waxingtheporpoise. X, Twitter is at waxingtheporp. Thanks for joining us. Thanks again to the people who are listening and enjoying the show. We appreciate you. Leave us a review. Would be helpful if you can on Apple Podcasts. That's the best way to get our name out there. So yeah, thanks again. We'll see you when we see you, and we'll see you later.